Everybody, it is Doghouse Sports. My name is Elvis. I am in Las Vegas at the Smarttab Studios. Thank you very much. That right there is Joe Grande, better known as Big Joe in the Bay. How you doing, buddy?
I'm in the Cannabis Talk 101 studios. How you guys doing?
Maybe back off the mic a little bit. Is this your first time using a mic? Yeah, I'm just saying.
Wow.
I'm just saying. Okay. And that is our friend Derrick Deese, former 49er and Super Bowl champ. What is up, Derrick?
What's up, big dog?
Just chilling, man. Just chilling. Well, this is it. This is our first show, our first Doghouse Sports show on YouTube. We thank everybody checking this out. And it's, of course, brought to you by Smarttab POS. If you have a bar, restaurant, nightclub, you work at one, you manage one, you want to generate more revenue, go to smarttab.com. Schedule a demo there. It's Smarttab, SMARTTAB.com. Schedule a demo. Double T. That's a double T. And I'm telling you, I work with these guys, not only the cool guys, started in San Francisco, by the way, but just a great product. And they're in over 1,000 venues nationwide, over 300 in the Bay, and over 200 here in Las Vegas as well. Also, we do golf courses, ski resorts, and gentlemen's clubs. Not that I've ever been to a strip club, but we also do that as well. Want to start the show by saying why we're doing this show. As everybody knows, we lost our friend and my partner of 30 years, JV. Can you guys believe it's been a year already?
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a year. How fast that goes. We lost him, but we're going to do this show to keep his spirit alive because the guy was one of the most creative, talented, dynamic, driven guys I'll ever know. That's for sure. And he made me better. He made you better, Joe. And he just
and he always made fun of everything, you guys. So just remind yourself as we have fun. This dude, I mean, the day my mom died, he's cracking jokes. The day my dad
Still
died,
holding on to that, aren't you?
I mean, no, it's just who you both are. So
I wasn't involved in that. I wasn't involved in
the last gift my dad ever gave me. You ripped the leg off a doll he gave me.
I did not.
In the car. Oh yes, you did.
I'm sorry about that. Well, I
You're
apologize.
a cynical man.
No, that's true. All right, so let you know, not only we're doing the show to keep JV's spirit alive, but our old station, Wild 94.9, is throwing a comedy jam. That is coming up March 1st at SAP Center in San Jose. Incredible lineup: Cedric the Entertainer, D.L. Hughley, Ada Rodriguez, Felipe Esparza, Ralph Barbosa, Tony Rock, and who else? That's about it, I think. But it's a great lineup.
That's a great lineup in itself right there.
It really is.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Before we get into sports, because there's a lot going on here, especially in Vegas with the Super Bowl, Niners and Chiefs, I have something kind of personal to go through right now, if you don't mind. Joe, you know this.
A flare-up? You have a flare-up right now?
Kind of.
Hemorrhoids?
No. So, Joe, I've been, you and I talk every couple of days. And, you don't call me back.
When I don't respond, Derrick, you text with, you could fucking at least text me back.
Oh, Jesus. Well, Christ, it was like a week and a half. I'm like, dude, we're doing all this.
It was 2 days I didn't return a text. It was like a day, not even 24 hours.
Maybe so. I was lonely. What can I say? Let's get into some sports here. Of course, the Super Bowl is happening coming up February 11th here in Las Vegas. I got to be honest, guys. It's already getting crazy here. It's already getting nuts. What I like about it is it's mostly Niner stuff going on here in Las Vegas.
It's got to be. You got to think about that. That's just the backyard, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
Niners in Vegas. Can you imagine what that would have been like, Derrick, when you were playing in that?
Oh, yeah.
All the Niner fans, it would have just been crazy.
Yeah, and not a lot of cameras. So, yeah, it would have been great.
And no social media back then.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah,
exactly.
no, I mean, it's a different time now. Tell us, Derrick, because you're a Super Bowl champ, what is the week before a Super Bowl for a player? What is that like so structured that you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this? What's that week before like for a player?
Interesting. So it just depends on the team and when they arrive. So when we went to Miami, we came in on, I believe it was that Sunday night, and so we treated Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and really Wednesday kind of like normal days,
right?
As players, which means there really wasn't a curfew. The Chargers, on the other hand, came in, I believe, on Tuesday.
Right.
Well, now we've already been there 2 days, right? So, and you know some of those guys, and they're going to go to some of the same places that you go to and everything, and you've already had your party, and you're it's started to time taper down for you. They just got there.
Yeah.
So you can imagine, like, they want to start enjoying some of the festivities, right?
Ready to go.
So now
Yeah.
they're ready to go. And I'll be straight honest with you. We're sitting over at a place, and they walk in and they're going crazy, and we're like, yeah, let them go crazy. We're sending bottles over to them.
Buy him shots.
No way. That's awesome.
We're sending bottles over to them, like, man, welcome. This is gonna be great. Blah blah blah.
Let's have a great game.
No, we're not. We've already had the bottles. It's already over for us.
Wow.
We're on a taper down period, and
Right.
and they're just getting fired up. And so, like, a lot of things happen at that point. So now you see the game, and when you see the game, a lot of times they report, like, the Angels flew over and was cool, but the smoke never cleared for somebody, and it was really smoky in that stadium. If you remember, they take that picture, and you see all the smoke from the fireworks and all that stuff going off, and they say the smoke never. They say the smoke never cleared for the Chargers. Well, that's because they came in a little bit late, and they got they didn't really get a chance to acclimate themselves correctly.
So you mentioned a storied franchise, and I want to get to the Super Bowl that's coming up here, the Niners and the Chiefs. So the Chiefs, I want the Niners to win. Don't get me wrong, but if the Chiefs win, this is their fifth. This is their fourth appearance or something like that in 4 years, something like that. If they win their third ring, are the Chiefs now a dynasty? In your opinion, Derrick?
Look,
I think so.
Look, a dynasty is not always determined by just how many championships you win. Remember how hard it is to get here. All right. Remember how hard it is to get just to get to play to be in the ship, right? You're talking about Patrick Mahomes, who's been in the league for a short period of time, but the amount of years but the amount of times he's been in the league, guess what? Every year he's been in the NFC Championship.
Yep.
I mean, that in itself is
every year.
That's incredible. They talk about LeBron, what he was like at one point, 10 out of 11 finals, and the only year he didn't go was because he was hurt. That in itself is an incredible feat, right? And to do that in football, to come in and just say, hey, look, we're going to be in this thing and get to at least to the game before the dance, right? And that's the one that you want to get to is the dance, but to get to the game before it, I mean, that's incredible in itself. So, I get, they would be considered definitely a dynasty, definitely. You have to look at it that way, and you have to look at it like number 15. Hey, he's a man.
Badass.
He's
badass.
You can't go without him.
Yeah. And Andy
one of the best dynamic duos ever probably play the game too. When you look at him and that tight end are like an undoable tight end and a quarterback that we've never seen before.
Well,
and now the
Jerry Rice's record.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he beat Jerry Rice's record for most catches in the playoffs. So
correct.
To talk about the Super Bowl here in Las Vegas, where I live, it's pretty crazy. All the Raider fans now. Can you tell me how this would, if you were a Raider right now, that your two arch enemies, the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers, are playing in your stadium, and the Chiefs are in your locker room and using your facilities? How would that?
They're pissing in the locker room.
Oh, they're doing something.
You know that.
How, as a former NFL player, and put yourself in the shoes of the Raiders now, who, by the way, I think AP was a great hire. I don't know about Tom Telesco, the former Charger GM, being GM, but they did hire Cliff Kingsbury yesterday or today, and I think they're on their way. I think they're keeping the pace, and I think they're going to be a decent team. The problem is with the Raiders is they have number 15, and now they've got Jim Harbaugh as coach of the Chargers, who is going to change that franchise around, thank God. So how would you as a player know that your arch enemy is going to be in your locker room, Derrick?
Well, that wouldn't bother me as much as it would bother me the fact that we're not playing in that Super Bowl.
Right. In your home
stadium. In your home stadium, I mean, it's just the fact you have to have a mentality. The mentality of the team has to be different, right? When I came to the Niners, you came there, and whether you came from a school that was winning or a team that you came from was winning or you came from a team that was losing, or a college that was losing, right? It didn't matter. When you got to the Niners, the expectation in the locker room and throughout that whole place was that if we don't win a Super Bowl, it's a failed season. So I'm gonna repeat that. If we don't win a Super Bowl, it's a season. So we can go 13-3. We can go 14-2. If you don't win the Super Bowl, you lose in the second round of the playoffs, or you lose
Cowboys,
to the Cowboys in the NFC Championship game, it's a failed season. Now, how many teams would give a leg just to get a 14-2 season?
Right.
I mean, it's incredible, right? So your expectations are completely different, and that's where I think it starts. Is that you have to have that expectation, but you also have to be willing to have an owner, a president, and a GM, and a head coach that's willing to put everything out there for you,
right,
and do everything for you, and let you know, like, hey, we're going to put it out there. What are you going to do with it? And if you don't want to do, your part, we're going to get rid of you.
Every team is out there selling wolf tickets. Like, everything you're saying, I think, is what we hear from quote unquote every team that what they're coming into the season with, right? Everyone's running that front.
I don't think you. Here's the difference, right? To go in and say it is one thing, but to go in and actually do it is another. And
totally.
And so you have to be willing to put that out there. And the way you put that out there is by, one, who do you bring in, right? What guys are you bringing in? Where are you replacing guys? What are you putting? Are you replacing, guys that shouldn't be replaced and then putting them in with younger guys? Because in that case, you're always going to be rebuilding. Are you like the Patriots at one point where they were able to just put a Band-Aid over certain positions and stay good because that Band-Aid they put over was a damn good Band-Aid, right? And so they're just getting free agent after free agent after free agent, and guys are coming in and they're taking less money, but these are dominant players and very good players. And so now they know, like, hey, we're going to compete for this ring. We're going to win this ring. And so a coach or an owner can tell you anything they want to tell you, right? But when I go look at that paper and I go look at what we did in the offseason, I go look at where we drafted, and I go look at all these things, and I still see, like, we're the same team that we were last year. Nothing's going to change.
The same holes. Yeah, right.
You can tell me what you want to tell me. The action didn't speak, louder than the word, and it has to. And so, like, when you talk about Detroit, right, talk about Detroit and what they were able to accomplish this year. The dynamic of the organization has changed based off of Campbell and what he did with that team, right?
100%. And the culture.
And he changed the whole culture and belief, not within just the team, though. I think he changed that within the whole city, and that
agreed
in itself speaks, right? And he brought in former players. He didn't bring in just coaches that are good, and guys that studied the game. He brought in guys that played the game, and that's where things changed. And that's where you look at it and say, okay, we got guys that actually know what they're talking about, guys that did it, and I can talk to them and be able to say, okay, this is what's going on. This is how we do it. This is what you want to do. And I got faith and belief in those guys. And Campbell was full force of, it's a family. We're going to do this together, and we're going to be tough. We're going to let you know, like, hey, we may lose a game, but you're going to know you played the Lions, and that's what it's about. And so they came into everything. They weren't overpowered in any game. They weren't. Nope. It was, the moment wasn't too big for them. That game against the Niners was not too big. It was a game where if he makes one of those fourth down conversions, we're not talking about he let his ego get into it. We're 100%. Talking about, damn, they shocked the Niners. That's what we're talking about.
They're in the Super Bowl. They're in the Super Bowl. 100%.
That's a whole different game plan. So I'm tired of people saying, like, he let his ego and, his pride and all that.
He did it all year.
I get what he did. I understand what he did. As a lineman, I appreciate what he did. Do I think that was the right decision at that time to do that? I don't think so. I think that's where you look at it, because you're up 10 points. Take the 3. Now you're talking about, instead of a 2 possession score, you're talking about 3, right? Now if I'm up by 13 and I get another shot, Do I go for it? I don't really have to, right? Here's why. Because if I kick another field goal, instead of talking 3 possessions of 2 touchdowns and a field goal, I'm talking about 3 touchdowns. That's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, 100%.
We're talking
100%.
3 touchdowns for you to win. That's a hard way.
How much time?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. So like, I don't think at that time was the right thing to do because we were so far ahead, and it was an emotional game for both sides, obviously, for both parties.
Right. So you mentioned Dan Quinn. You mentioned Dan Campbell.
Right.
There's a lot of new coaching changes in the NFL. I just mentioned Jim Harbaugh. The AFC West is loaded. You got Sean Payton. You got, of course, Andy Reid, and now you got Jim Harbaugh. Some of the other teams, anything surprise you? Carolina picked up Dave Canales. He was that Tampa Bay offensive coordinator. Good thing is the winner in that, though, is Bryce Young. Bryce Young is the winner in that, bringing that guy over there because the whole Frank Reich thing was just and that owner is a psycho. Also, Washington hired Dan Quinn from the Cowboys. Is the Cowboys D going to suffer? Is the Cowboys defense going to suffer because of that, Derrick? What do you think? Because I think Dan Quinn was instrumental in putting that defense together, and he was again choked. They just choked.
He was, but here's the thing: a lot of people were talking a lot of mess about the last game of the Cowboys, right?
Oh yeah, that was bad. Dan Quinn,
he changed. Yeah, but is that Dan Quinn? Because here's the thing, right? I remember being told by Mike Shanahan, when he was on the Niners, and he told the whole offense this. He wasn't just myself. He told the whole offense. Guys were complaining about a couple of plays that had been run, and he was like, we shouldn't have run that. Obviously it was guys that were, the vets and stuff, the higher ups. And he said, look, if I call a play, and one guy out of 11 messes up on a block, or runs the wrong pattern, or drops the ball, or whatever, and it doesn't work, you can say something to me. You can't say nothing to me. If I call a play and everybody runs everything the way they're supposed to and it doesn't work, then it's my fault. Then you have a right to complain. So if you look at what Quinn was doing and what he was calling, sometimes it's not Quinn, man. Coaches can call the plays. They can't play for the players.
Right. It's them executing. It's the players executing. Right. I agree.
The players got to execute, and they got to do what they got to do. And so that defense was pretty strong all year long. And then all of a sudden, maybe the moment was too big for some of those guys, right? Maybe they got carried away. Maybe they were cocky, right?
Yeah.
Right. I think that's what happened. I think that's what happened with the Ravens. With the Ravens.
Well, plus that offensive coordinator, who's that? I forget his name. That was a bad game he called because the game before they ran the ball. They gave it to Edwards one time in the first half. One time.
No matter what they've been known for, when you have a great back, that's what you've been known for, and then you come out of your this is what
was throwing the ball.
Lamar
throwing the ball when Lamar had like a 15-yard run in the first half, and they went away from it. That was the worst game I saw all season the Ravens play, and everybody thought, they're a Super Bowl bound. They're going to be there. Number 15.
But I also think you learn that Lamar has difficulty when it comes time to putting him on pressure and having him have to pass the ball.
Right.
I find it interesting how everyone's always on Lamar about he's this, he's that, he's great, he's so forth. But you take Purdy from the Niners, and because he's labeled as Mr. Irrelevant, they try to make him irrelevant. And I think they need to change that name. Because
he's so dope.
The guy
can
great. Win. The guy he does. Yeah, he makes mistakes. Does he play bad sometimes? Yes, he does. But you know what? He didn't have the second year crash like a lot of guys that have a good first year, and then all of a sudden you're like, we're going to be good. All of a sudden it's like, boom, crashed. They hit the wall. Right. Things don't work out. People started to read him. He didn't have that, and he didn't. Nope. He never once doubted his game. The team never doubted his game. And I think when you're a quarterback and you can win over the locker room like he was able to, because you had defensive guys going crazy for this guy. They have all bought into him. They're going to do whatever they got to do to protect him. They're going to do whatever they got to do to win. so that they can now legitimize the player that he is. And all I keep thinking is like, he has to win this Super Bowl, otherwise he's not valid. No, he's valid. Trust me.
Dude, and not only that, I mean, just think about this. There's no other football quarterback, you guys, except what's his name that was bagging things, or the undrafted one.
Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner is the only other quarterback in the history of the NFL, right, that has like a crazier, better story. This kid right here is the very last pick in the draft. And if you look at what he's doing and living like in the Bay Area, he's not even really making enough money to compete with some of the big wigs.
Brock Purdy saved Shanahan and saved John Lynch's jobs, in my opinion.
Well, because not only saved their jobs, but he's
the Trey Lance trade. Any other team that had done that, GM and coach that had taken Trey Lance and given up all that draft capital, they'd be gone. But thank God Brock Purdy came around, and you can call him whatever you want, system quarterback. He's a winner.
Hey, look,
the
man,
guy's a freaking winner.
He's a winner. He's a tough player. He gives you everything he's got every time. I think he's very humble. He's a team guy.
Like a cool cat.
Totally. It's a guy that I think everyone on that team loves to have in the locker room. I think he has control of that locker room. And I think, to hear what some of these comments that I hear from these comments, I'm like, man, some of these players forget who they were when they played.
Yeah, right. 100%.
Damian
Woody came out and gave him support big time. Damian Woody, former New England Patriot and Jet.
What do you mean by that, Derrick? Elaborate on that. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, like, look, I don't care if you have a gold jacket or not, right? When you play, guys all get criticized. Players all get criticized, no matter what. I mean, I look back from our Super Bowl, and they really couldn't find too much to criticize. I mean, our team was stacked, right? It was supposed
loaded
to do what it was doing, and all of a sudden they're picking on Steve Young and how he slides.
Yeah,
and that was the big. That's the biggest thing they could come up with is like, well, the way he
had
slides,
6 touchdowns in the Super Bowl.
It's like, like, come on, man, we don't want to hear that. So you're gonna find something to try to tear you down. And what I'm saying is that players know this. We know that they're gonna find something to tear you down with. That's what sells, right? You got to have something that sells. Everything can't always be good. It just can't be. I have, 90% of radio and 90% of talk shows and media stuff is always about a pro and a con. Someone's got to be the con, someone's going to be the pro, and they switch back and forth, and you got to figure out who is it going to be, and everyone can't always agree on everything, right? So
100%.
In order to have a fight and make a conversation to make yourself relevant, you pick on somebody, and so those same players that are doing it now have to remember you were the topic at one point in time.
Yeah, totally. Big time.
And so I don't care. I don't care that you have a gold jacket. I don't care that you have 3 or 4 Super Bowl rings. I don't care that you made a ton of money. Reality is like you're hating on a player that you shouldn't hate on.
Right. I agree.
There's plenty of players that deserve hate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let me ask you guys this, though, real quick. Danner?
Yeah.
Is Bill Belichick like our president now? You kind of liked him at the beginning, but is he old and ready to go? He reminds me of Joe a little bit.
I think that Bill Belichick,
his glory years are in the past.
It's probably done. He got passed up. He wasn't hired as an HC, and he was like behind Harbaugh. He was like the number 2 candidate. Hey, come on! But he was passed up for a reason. I think he's done. Maybe be a consultant. I don't see him coming back as a head coach. Do you, Derrick?
No, I think if he's gonna jump in, he'll jump in as a consultant for somebody.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna be in the coaching realm where he's gonna be like a coordinator or something like that. No, he's just gonna jump. He'll jump in as a consultant, kind of like what Bill Walsh did for the Niners.
Yeah. Right.
Maybe he does that for the Patriots.
I don't think Pete Carroll's done though. I bet you Pete comes back.
Nobody called on Pete.
I know, but
it's hard.
Nobody called on Vrabel either. Vrabel.
Well, and I don't understand that one.
I don't either.
I don't understand how the enemy didn't really get that shot in Washington. I mean, he's completely. If you look at what he was able to bring just a little bit to that team, a little bit of it was toughness, and you can see what they're lacking.
Yeah, right.
And that's the funny part about it, because they're lacking toughness. They're lacking the ability to be criticized. They're lacking the ability to take coaching and understand that it takes it to another level when you are coached. So I would have given him, I think he deserves a shot. I would have given him that shot, and I would have given it to that team, because those players started to understand what he's about, but they never really
Sam
had
Howell
it all,
quarterback. Give me a break. Yeah.
Because Rivera, he's still kind of like, he subdued some of it, and I wouldn't. I think that what he's bringing to the table is what some of these players actually need, and they have to understand that. And he's holding the players accountable. You want to be congratulated when you're doing good stuff. I'm not going to congratulate you when you do bad stuff, and I'm not going to not say anything about it.
Right.
We're going to correct that. I'm going to let you know you messed that up, and you're going to have to fix it. And I mean, fix it now. And this is how. And if it calls for me to embarrass you and yell at you, and you take it the wrong way, then take it. It's coaching, man. I've always been told when a coach doesn't speak to you, that's when you get worried.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Talk about the Super Bowl that's coming up here in Vegas. The Chiefs are actually favored, and I don't get that. I don't get why the Chiefs are favored, because they
have that. They've been there, and therefore they should be favored. When you look at the experience right now, you look at the season and how they played, I can see how you possibly think the Niners right now, and they definitely have some weapons, but obviously both teams have the weapons. But
their offense has been struggling all year compared to what it was. It's been struggling all year. I think that.
I mean, they're in the Super Bowl. I don't know about struggling.
But the offense struggled all year. It really did. It wasn't what it was in the last 3-4 seasons. It wasn't. It just wasn't. Their defense came through for them. That was really big for the Chiefs this year, and their defense really is good. Spagnuolo's a great DC. What do you see the Super Bowl ending up again, Derrick? Who you got? I pretty much know the answer to this. There we go. Niners.
I'm taking the Niners. But look, when you're facing 15.
I know.
Anything's possible. Here's the deal. You have two offensive tackles that are most penalized in the game over the last 5 years.
Right.
You have one who's the most penalized this year alone. And so that's where I think people say like, it's a little bit of an issue. But they also got two starting offensive linemen that are out. But when they went into that Raven game, remember now, they're favored for a couple of reasons. One is, remember, the Ravens went on the road, and they dogged the Niners.
Yeah. Oh, right? They destroyed them. They destroyed them.
Kansas City went on the road and played in their house, where everybody had been pretty much pounced on in that house.
Yeah, agreed. Oh, they got steamrolled in Baltimore.
Kansas City came in and played a game where you could tell that those guys had been there. Yeah. And they weren't penalized until, I want to say, late in the second or early third, which was crazy. They did what they had to do. Mahomes finally got hit, because normally he isn't touched at all.
Right.
It was an incredible game to watch. I can tell you this, that you have to worry a little bit about the run defense for the Niners because of what happened with Detroit.
And Isaiah Pacheco is no joke.
He's no joke, and they get after it when it comes to running. That's that KC ball. And
100%.
I worry about them getting down. If they get down 14 points, it's game over. 15 will not let you back in the game.
No, you're right, 100%.
He's not letting you back in the game.
Yeah.
And so they can't afford that to happen.
No, I agree, and you nailed it right there. It's all about the Niners, how they're going to stop the run of the Chiefs, because that's really what they do. And this Pacheco is really good. He basically took over Clyde Edwards-Helaire, took his job. I mean, he just boom. He's like, this kid's a badass. All right, well, that's going to do it for this show. Joe, who do you got, by the way? Niners or
I don't know if you guys know this, but I got an inside tip that they're going to bring the Nigerian Nightmare Christian Okoye back in the fourth quarter, and Christian's going to be running the ball. So get ready for any tricks out of Kansas City.
Guys, have you seen?
You are just a hater. I can't even believe you.
Yeah,
that's why your team can't win. You are a hater.
He really is. Well, you
jump on the end. You're in the NFC. Are you kidding me right now?
I'll tell
Are you
right
kidding
now,
me?
I'm liking the whole Purdy story. Like, and I like his vibe, and I like him as an athlete. You know, and
I wouldn't
like
be
his
surprised to see him win the
character.
MVP of the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Watch.
he's just one of those guys that I find, it's hard for me to do this with a Niner, right? And I find myself going, I like this Purdy kid. I mean,
he's great. Yeah, he
he's
changed
got
the
a
whole
freaking story that's just unbelievable.
He's better than your quarterback.
Oh, he's better
for
than Dak.
sure.
Oh, sure, 100%.
I mean, he's better than every other quarterback out there.
Right now, making no $40+ million either.
Yeah, he makes $75,000 this year, I think.
Hey, he will be making a lot of money next year, though.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
He'll be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. If he wins, he needs to be the highest paid person in the NFL, period.
Well, that's where the market dictates.
I don't know about that.
Joe Burrow just got 52 or 55. Herbert got 52 millions on the Chargers. If he wins the Super Bowl, he's got to get that money right there. And that's
they redid 15's deal after those two deals, though. So let's not forget that.
Right, 100%.
You know, Patrick Mahomes' deal got redone.
Thanks a lot. We appreciate it. Everybody listening to this. By the way, I'm going to be at the Niner Rally, which is going to be at Hard Rock Cafe here in Vegas.
I bet you are.
It's going to be, it's Merton Hanks is going to be there. Jesse Sapolo, Eric Wright is going to be there. And it's just going to be it's about 1,800 this place fits, and it's going to be packed with Niner fans there. So they asked me to come out. I said, hell yeah, I'm going to be there.
And I'll be at the after party with Elvis at the Rusty Putter out there in Vegas. So come by and take a putt with us.
Yeah, please do. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Take care.